From whatever shadow you watch from, prove your will. Subscribe. Let your comment be the first blow struck in your own war. From the moment you first thought, "I am not strong enough," you poured the first ingot. When you whispered, "This is just how I am," you began the bellows. Each time you compared your beginning to another's middle, and decided it was hopeless, you tempered the steel. You have constructed a masterwork of confinement, a labyrinth so intricate and personal that you believe is the natural architecture of the world. You mistake the walls of your own making for the horizon. You confuse the echo of your own whispers for the voice of destiny. This prison is not built of stone or iron that others can see. It is built of phantom materials, substances that gain power only through your belief. "I'm not smart enough" becomes a ceiling that lowers with every challenge avoided. "I might fail" becomes a wall that thickens with every opportunity left untaken. "What will they think?" becomes a shackle that grows heavier with every authentic impulse suppressed. You walk through life, dragging these invisible chains, feeling their weight, convinced they were placed upon you by some external fate. You are the jailer who has forgotten he holds the keys, who has grown so accustomed to the confines of his cell, that the thought of an open door is more terrifying than the captivity itself. This is the ultimate weakness, not a lack of strength, but a surrender to a fiction. You have authored a story of incapacity, and then bound yourself within its pages. You recite the lines of your limitation like a sacred mantra. "This is too hard for me. This is not for people like me. I don't have what it takes." And with every recitation, the ink of the story sinks deeper, staining not just the page, but the very hand that holds the pen. You believe the narrative is your biography, when it is merely a draft you've been too cowardly to edit. The shattering of this cage does not require a key from the outside world. It requires a single devastating realization from within. The walls are an illusion painted on glass. All that is required is the will to stop pretending they are made of mountain stone. It begins not with a roar, but with a silent, internal refusal. The next time the thought "I can't" forms in the silence of your mind, you must turn upon it. You must interrogate it. Is this a truth, or is it a habit? Is this a law of physics, or is it the ghost of an old fear wearing a mask of wisdom? To break the cage is to finally understand that the fear who built it, the fearful, doubting, seeking approval self, is not the totality of who you are. It is merely a construct, a puppet you've been operating from the inside. The true self, the one that observes even the doubt, is the force that can reduce the entire elaborate prison to dust. The moment you shift your identity from the prisoner to the architect, the entire structure loses its power. You cannot be imprisoned by a design you now choose to dismantle. Pain? It is a signal, a sensation of nerves. It screams at you to stop, but it is not a command. It is a request. Your will can choose to deny that request, to treat the scream as background noise to the symphony of your purpose. Exhaustion. It is the body's plea for respite. But the body is a vessel, a tool. Does the blacksmith stop because his hammer grows hot? He endures the heat, for the blade is not yet forged. Failure? It is a data point, a lesson written in the dialect of setback. It is not a verdict. The weak see failure as a full stop, a period at the end of their sentence. The one with true will sees it as a comma, a momentary pause before the next clause of their inevitable triumph. You must understand this fundamental principle. Your conscious mind, your wavering, doubting thoughts, are not the seat of your power. They are the surface chatter of a pond. Your will is the relentless current deep below, the unwavering purpose that moves independent of the weather on the surface. Most people live and die listening only to the chatter, mistaking the ripples for the river's true direction. They let a gust of fear change their course. They let a rain of doubt slow their flow. To awaken is to plunge beneath the surface, to become one with that deep, silent, unstoppable current. When you do, a profound shift occurs. You no longer ask reality for permission. You issue it a decree. You do not hope for an outcome. You assume its inevitability and bend every action, every thought, every shred of your being toward its manifestation. The universe is not a passive stage. It is a substance that responds to pressure. The pressure of an unbreakable will is the only force that can mold it. Do you think mountains are moved by wishing? By careful, realistic planning? No, they are moved by a decision so absolute that it creates its own gravity, pulling all possibilities toward it. The path does not appear before you because you look for it. The path is carved by your first, unwavering step into the impossible. The world will resist. It will throw obstacles, suffering, and the laughter of fools in your path. These are not signs to turn back. They are proof that you are applying pressure. They are the friction that confirms your movement. Circumstances, limitations. You point to the world outside and label it your warden. This is the fundamental error, the core delusion of every unawakened soul. You stare at the bars that surround you, feeling their cold touch, listening to the rattle of your own shaking hands against them, and you blame the metal. You blame the forge that created it. You blame the very concept of confinement. But you never think to examine the smith. Look at your hands. Do you see the soot, the burns, the hammer you've been clutching all your life? You are the smith. You are the forge. Every bar of that cage was heated in the furnace of your own fear and hammered into shape on the anvil of your doubt. So abandon this beggar's mentality of asking the world if you can have something. That is the language of the weak. Adopt the language of the sovereign. Decide. Not a wish, not a goal, a decree. See the outcome, not as a distant possibility, but as a future memory so vivid it has more substance than the ground beneath your feet. Then walk. The world you perceive will shudder. It will crack. And through those cracks, the world you have willed into being will come pouring through, reshaping what reality is forever. Your will is not part of this world. It is the loom upon which this world is woven. Now, Pulio, speak of your dreams as if they are treasures to be found, gifts waiting under some distant star. This is a child's fantasy. Dreams are not found. They are forged. And the forge is not a gentle place. It is a crucible of absolute sacrifice. A place where everything you are must be fed into the flames so that something far greater can be born. You stand at its mouth, shivering, clutching the trinkets of your comfort, your leisure, your reassurance, your peace of mind. And you wonder why the metal of your ambition remains cold and lifeless. You cannot hold both. To grasp the blade, you must release the dull, the threads. What is it you believe you deserve? Do you think the universe grants power to those who seek it only in their spare moments, between meals and distractions in the warm, soft blanket of security? That is the bargain of the common man. He trades his potential for comfort, a few coins of modest achievement for a lifetime of placid numbness. It is a fair trade for him. But you speak of greatness. You whisper of legacy. That currency is not accepted here. The price is steeper. It is paid in the raw, glamorous coin of self-denial. It is paid with the nights you spend honing your craft, while the world sleeps, the dawns you greet with weary eyes, and a resolve that has been sanded sharp by exhaustion. It is paid with the friendships that wither, because you no longer have time for idle chatter, the loves that fade because they cannot understand the fire that consumes you, the peace that you voluntarily exile from your heart. This is the loneliness of the path. To walk it is to understand that you are leaving a part of yourself behind with every step. The part that needs to be liked. The part that fears being misunderstood. The part that craves rest before the work is done. You must sacrifice it all on the altar of your purpose. There is no applause in the forge. Only the hammer's ring, the hiss of cooling steel, and the silence of your own unwavering focus. You look at the great ones, the legends, and you see only their triumph, their glory at the summit. You are blind to the trail of blood they left on the ascent, their own blood. You do not see the thousands of silent, unseen hours where they were broken, over and over, only to rebuild themselves each time, harder, sharper. You see the unbreakable diamond, but you were not there when it was mere carbon, subjected to unimaginable pressure and total darkness. To endure what others never would, that is not a poetic phrase. It is a literal, brutal requirement. It is to look into the abyss of your own suffering, your own deepest fear of failure and oblivion, and to choose to take another step forward into it. To accept that your goal may demand your sanity, your health, your very life, and to answer, take it. It is already yours. This is the final separation between the dreamer and the destined. The dreamer turns back when the heat becomes unbearable, clinging to the memory of warmth. The destined understands that the true warmth, the only warmth that matters, is the one they will create from their own consuming fire. The hell is not an obstacle on the path. The hell is the path. It is the purifying flame that burns away everything you are not, everything that is weak, everything that is false. To walk through it is not a punishment. It is a privilege. It is the only process that can possibly prepare you to hold the victory you claim to seek. So stop bargaining. Stop looking for an easier route. There is none. Your comfort or your greatness. Choose. And if you choose the latter, then do not whimper about the heat. Do not mourn the ashes of your old self left behind. Set your eyes on the glow at the heart of the flames, the shape of what you are becoming, and walk. Walk until your feet are cinders and then walk further. The victory was never the prize at the end. The victory is the person you become in the walking. There is a precipice that exists in the journey of every would-be legend. It is not a place you find on any map. It is the moment when the last of your illusions shatters, when the final flimsy hope for an easy victory is extinguished. The world goes silent. Your plans lie in ruins at your feet. The strength you relied upon has proven insufficient. The allies you trusted are gone. You stand utterly alone, with the cold, stark truth of your own limitation staring back at you from the abyss. This is not misfortune. This is the universe delivering an ultimatum. This is the gift of true despair. The weak, the mediocre, they misunderstand this moment. They feel its cold touch and believe it is the end. They interpret this crushing pressure as a signal to stop, to lie down, to accept their place as a footnote. They sink into the mire of their own pity, and they let it consume them. They become one with the oblivion that threatened them. This is one path. It is the well-trodden road of the nameless millions who came before you and surrendered.